folks! Today's video is going to be a little tag, and I say little being facetious because there's actually quite a few questions on this. One of my pals here on YouTube, Kate the Great Beauty, actually tagged me in this months ago when I decided to take a break. I remember she posted this video like the day after I posted my last video before my break, and I was like,
Kate, I'm gonna do it, I swear.
It just won't be for a while. But this is the Content Creator Confessions tag. Ooh, I do love that alliteration. Alliteration be like, yum, yum, yum. But these are a series of questions talking about being a content creator. I love a good tag. I love a good tag where I get to talk about things that maybe you guys don't know. So let's just jump into the questions. I will leave a link to Kate's video also in the description as well, because that's the one she tagged me in. I don't really have anybody specific to tag in this because I don't know who's done it already. So like, if you want to do it, you know? I have already seen a handful of people do this video, and I know that I am very late to it. So the first question, how do you feel about the term influencer, and do you feel you are one? I used to hate it. I used to hate the term influencer because it felt very like pompous. It felt very like,
oh, I'm so important, I'm an influencer, I'm influencing people.
But the more and more that it's been used, the more I realized how accurate it actually is. I have a love-hate relationship. I don't love it, but I understand it, and technically I am one, even though I wouldn't necessarily like, I don't know, like if I were to introduce myself and be like, oh, what do you do on the internet? I'd be like, oh, I'm a content creator. I wouldn't say I'm an influencer because I feel like there's a certain connotation that comes with influencers, unfortunately. You think a lot about like undisclosed sponsorships on Instagram, the most famous of the famous. So I prefer to call myself a content creator, but technically I am an influencer because I influence people in some way or another. Even if that wasn't the reason why I got into it in the first place. When I started making videos, I didn't get into making videos to influence people. I got into making videos because I just wanted to make stuff. So I think the motivation behind it and kind of like where you started and when you started has a bit of a influence on whether or not you think of yourself as an influencer, because it's a relatively new term in the larger, I don't know, storied history of the internet and social media. Yeah, I am one, but like, it's not my favorite term. How did you decide to become a content creator? Well, this is kind of a funny story. When I was in college, I was in a feature writing class. I went to college for communications, aka the most vague degree you can get in an interdisciplinary school. I am a Husky, but I went to the Tacoma campus because I didn't want to have to go to the big university, and it was way easier to live at home and drive. When I was in college, I was in a feature writing class, and this long quarter-length assignment was to do this in-depth feature on a subculture. And a lot of other people picked like, I don't know, one group of people, or one person like picked like people who were into LARPing. Another person picked like military spouses. So just like a subculture of people. And I had recently read Looking for Alaska. And I started watching the Vlogbrothers because I was like, who's this John Gree guy? I like looked up stuff and I was like, oh, he's more than just an author. What is this? And so I started watching the Vlogbrothers, and then I was like,
hey, Teach, could I do my article about an online subculture?
And she was like,
Sure, why not?
that's valid. It's 2010. I think at that point. But yeah, I started watching the Vlogbrothers and I discovered Nerdfighteria. So the rest is history. If you want to watch my video where I watch my VidCon vlogs, link here in a card. But yeah, so I got into making videos because I had nothing to do while in college, and I got really invested in Nerdfighteria, the early days of YouTube. And I just started doing it because so many other people were doing it who I thought were cool, and I was like, I could do this too. I have a MacBook with a webcam, and that was even before Google had bought it, and before there was really much monetization in place. So it was just kind of people just making stuff for the sake of making stuff. It was a very pure and weird place back in the day, YouTube.
Oh boy.
Question number 3. What's your experience with knowing other creators in life, good or bad? Back when I started making videos back in the day, I was close with a lot of people, like this one group of friends. I mean, most of the people who I went to VidCon with, I was really close with. My first, like, he wasn't my first boyfriend, but like he was my first long-term boyfriend. We met because of YouTube. I still have a lot of friends that I met because of YouTube. Most of my friends, if they're not musicians or hometown people, are just because of YouTube, frankly. So I've had generally a really great experience knowing other content creators in life, because back in the day, it was a different place and people were just like making stuff and hung out and went on tour with each other just for shits and giggles. And then as of more recently, I would say like some of my best friends are content creators. Yeah, I have a very close little group chat of a few of us here, and they're some of my besties. And I wish I could hang out with them all the time, but they all live on the East Coast or the Midwest, and I am here as the sole West Coast friend. So whenever we try to get like video chats together, it's always really complicated, because there's me who's like, it's super early in the day for me, and everybody else like, I'm tired. For the most part, knowing content creators in real life has always been a really positive experience for me. Really, the only negative experience I've had with like knowing content creators and knowing YouTubers in real life, it wasn't even bad at the time. It was just somebody that I knew, and then later on found out things about that person that I didn't know at the time that made me feel less than great about being loose friends or acquaintances, colleagues with. It was less about like it was bad at the time, but it was more just I learned things about people that made me lose a lot of trust in specifically male YouTubers many years ago. But that is a long story, a very long story, which I've told before, actually. I think that video is still up. Question number 4, do you accept sponsorships and how do you feel about them? Oh, I absolutely accept sponsorships. You guys see, I've done multiple sponsorships for multiple companies and I'm happy to do them now. I'm obviously selective with what companies I work with. Like I'm not going to take every sponsorship that comes my way, because if a company either doesn't align with my ethics or I've never used them and I can't like actually recommend them to you truthfully, I'm not going to take the sponsorship. So like skincare, for example, if I've never used it, I'm not going to tell you guys to use it because I don't know if it works. But sponsorships, I don't care if people take them. There's definitely some more than others that I might like side eye, but as long as they're disclosed, I really don't have much of an opinion about them, because being a content creator is a job now, and I don't really see it as any different than doing like a paid commercial for a celebrity. Like it's really not that different. Like people deserve to be paid for their work, and they deserve to be paid to talk about things and paid to make content. And a lot of times people are taking sponsorships for videos that regularly get demonetized or get copyright claimed. So sponsorships are a great way to make content that you know may or may not like toe the line of like YouTube's terms of service for some stupid reason. So when I see people taking sponsorships and getting sponsorships, I'm like, hell yeah, like get your bag. Like that's awesome. Like when I see somebody like first starting to get sponsorships, I'm like, yes, you did it. You made it. Yes. So I have no issue with it. There definitely used to be much more of a stigma about it, but that was like, again, right when YouTube started becoming a job, a viable career, if you will, and people had this really kind of twisted idea of like sponsorships being like selling your soul or selling out. It's like, you gotta fucking make money, okay? Like sometimes you just want to make money to be able to live. So there was that kind of weird line, like right in that kind of gray area between YouTube being just a hobby and then YouTube turning into like an actual career, that people were really kind of iffy about sponsorships. And I'll admit I was kind of that way too. I was like, I don't know about sponsorships, but now I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I would have liked to have gotten sponsorships more earlier on, but the only reason I'm getting more of them now is because I actually have like a team that works with me to help me manage those, which is really awesome. It's super helpful. So it's mostly like I would have taken sponsorships before, but most of the ones I just got randomly in my email inbox, cold emails, were trash deals. Usually it was just like, oh, we'll send you this thing and then you can make, I'm like, that's PR. That's not a sponsorship. Like what you're describing is a sponsorship, but you want me to make content for free PR. No, No, that's not how that works. Yeah, like I would have taken more sponsorships earlier on if I had had reasonable offers. I just didn't have them because of one reason or another. I don't know. Probably because I was regularly like shitting on brands that nobody wanted to work with me. But now I actually have people that want to work with me, which is awesome. Like Warby Parker. This video is not sponsored, by the way, but I've literally been using their glasses for almost a decade. Anyway, question number 5. Have you had a bad experience with a brand that left a bad taste in your mouth? Thankfully, I've never really had any bad experiences with brands that I've worked with, like as a sponsor. There is something that's like slightly separate from this that I will talk about later on in the video. But I've definitely had brands who were relentlessly bothering me in my email inbox that I had to tell them to fuck off, basically. For instance, THAY, it was a couple of years ago, literally sent me emails weekly for months. And I was like, I'm not interested. I do not want this. Stop emailing me. Like, I'm not interested. And they were releasing some like skincare products. And I was like, I'm not taking a sponsorship from the Diet Tea brand. Like, why in the world would I do that? And I basically said, not interested. I'm not a fan of this, this, and this. And then this poor girl who was working in marketing, obviously, was like, oh, well, I'm sorry to hear. I really like the skincare. And I'm like, you're talking to a brick wall. I don't care. I'm not going to take it. Leave me alone. Not interested. Move on. Find somebody else to do it. She stopped. And then another person started doing the same thing. And then I went through the same process again. And then another person came at me again. And I was like, do you people even talk to each other? Do you have like a list of people that you reach out to? Why are you wasting your time emailing me again? Bothering me relentlessly is not going to make me change my mind about taking a sponsorship from a diet tea company.
Fuck off.
So I basically just had to tell them to fuck off, and I blocked the emails. Because I was like, you need to be better at like organizing who is reaching out to whom, because like this isn't how it works. Like this isn't going to work. Essentially harassing people in their inbox is not going to go away. So THAY is really the only brand that I've had to get super forward with, but thankfully I've never worked with them. Question number 6, how do you deal with negative comments? Right now, I'm kind of in the camp of like, ignore them if they're harmless, mute them if they are unnecessarily negative or annoying, and then block them if they are either being really terrible to me or to any of you guys in the comments. Like if they just argue back and forth and like harass other people in the comments, they get blocked pretty quickly because I have developed a relatively thick skin over the years, doing YouTube for 10 years, but I'm not about to subject any of you to somebody in the comments just being a dick. So if somebody is a dick to anybody else in the comments, they get blocked. Or I'll block somebody if they're like harassing me or like completely misrepresenting my opinion or the point, like completely just lying about me. I'll block them because I don't have time for that shit anymore. Like I used to be way more petty, and I do these videos where I was reading negative comments, and like it was fun for a while because a lot of times the negative comments were just like stupid. Most of the time it was conservatives in the comments saying that I was like attacking my conservative viewers for expressing my opinion, and I was like, that sounds like a you problem. This is my channel and I can say whatever the fuck I want. So like, if you don't like it, you can leave, okay? That was the kind of stuff that I used to get that I would just kind of respond to very, very petty like. Now I'm like, I don't have time. I don't want to deal with it. It just kind of clogs my brain. Most of the time I ignore comments if they're just kind of harmlessly annoying. And there are plenty of those. It's the state of the internet these days, but yeah, with negative comments, that's kind of my general rule of thumb. But there have been times in the last few years where I feel particularly petty or really snarky on a certain day, and I'll see a comment that pisses me off and I'll respond in that same kind of petty, snarky way, but then mute them. So like if they respond, I can't see it. I don't care. And if they respond, they're responding out into the void and nobody else can see it but them. That's what muting does. It makes it so that they can still see your videos, they can still comment, but nobody else can see the comment except themselves. They are literally shouting into the void if you mute them from your comments, which is nice, actually. It's a very effective way of doing things on the internet. Muting. It's great. I highly recommend it because all it is just keeping your own peace, which is Very important these days. Yeah, that's kind of how I deal with negative comments. It's changed over the years. I used to get way more worked up about it, but now I'm just like, I'm almost 33. I don't have time for this.
I don't have time.
Speaking of comments, question number 7. What's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to comments? These are kind of petty. I will fully admit to that. When anybody comments about me in the third person, they're like, oh my god, what if Abby, like, they'll refer to me in the third person in a way that it feels like they don't realize I'm the one reading the comments. And I'm like, I'm right here. Like, you guys can direct comments at me. You don't have to talk about me in the third person. Like, I see the comment, like I'm reading it right now. You don't have to refer to me in third person. It's very funny though. It's a pet peeve, but it's funny each time because I'm like, okay. And then another one that, again, it's kind of petty. When people spell my name wrong in like a really weird way, because my name is like it's in my channel title, like it's in my, like it's my name. It's not like I have a name that's like kind of a play on one of my usernames. Like I used to be Abbers07 on here, which I can understand if people spelled Abby with an E back then, not knowing that my name was just spelled Abby. But the fact that my channel name is just my name and people still spell it wrong, and I'm like, so close, right there, like it's right there. But I've always had, that's always just been a pet peeve of mine in general in life when people spell my name wrong, because I have the easiest way to spell Abby because it's only 4 letters. So I'm always like, why add the unnecessary I or the E, or I don't know. I'm sure that there's some people who spell their names like Abbeigh. Question number 8. What is your favorite part of being a content creator? I will say, as negative as the internet can be sometimes, the community is really, really nice. Mainly just being able to meet friends and make friends and have kind of this, I don't know, group of people that you can talk to at any times of the day and find out new things and interact with and like just support each other's content. It's really fun. It's what's kept me making content for 10 years. If I did not have a good time in the community with the people that I interact with, I wouldn't still be making videos. I just wouldn't be doing it. So that's definitely like probably the best part, because like I said, many of my friends and many of my best friends I met because of YouTube. And that's pretty fucking cool. You just find people that have similar interests and you're like, oh, friendship, cool, great. It's like that scene in Step Brothers when Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are like, did we just become best friends? Yup. It's great. And I will say I do really like editing when I'm really into a video. Like when I'm feeling really creative, I love editing. I don't always love editing. There's some videos that I like more than others, but I definitely like the creative process of editing and making my content look a certain way, making the footage look a certain way, adding in bits and jokes and memes and stuff. So I do like editing too. And on the flip side, question number 9, what is your least favorite part of being a content creator? Time management. I am terrible at it. I am currently filming this video. It is 1:13 in the morning on a Tuesday. Well, technically it's Wednesday now. Shit. But I'm not very good at managing my time, but it's a constant struggle when I have a 40-hour work week and a life and a boyfriend that I love and I would like to hang out with on a regular basis, and also just like hobbies outside of this. So being able to balance making content, streaming on Twitch, hanging out with my boyfriend, actually having a life, working out, going to work, going to sleep, like it's difficult. Like time management is something that I've always been a little bit iffy with. I've been perpetually late my whole life. I'm never on time. I'm sorry to the people who I've been late to things for. But yeah, I wish I was better at it, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be great at it while I'm balancing a full-time job while also doing this, which takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy. And sometimes I'm like in my YouTube editing cave for nights at a time. And it's not always the best when you just are constantly working on stuff and not just able to have fun with life, which is why Twitch has been so fun, because it's literally just that. Like I log in, chat with folks, build some shit, make some jokes, and it's a good time. So speaking of editing, question number 10. Do you edit your own content? And if so, do you enjoy it? Yes and yes. I will say there are certain videos and certain series that I like editing more. Some get a little bit formulaic. Like, as much as I love photoshopping makeup palettes and coming up with the color stories and actually like explaining that, I like doing that a whole lot, but the actual editing of the video is kind of the same each time, so that gets a little bit repetitive and kind of boring. So while I like the editing of the palettes, the editing of the video, not my favorite, because it's kind of the same all the time. There's not a whole lot I can do with it to make it different and also make it like serve the same purpose. So also Get Ready With Me's are really long-winded to edit because I pause a lot and it is just tedious. Definitely videos where there's less structure, as much fun as it is to film them, it is a pain in the ass to edit. I like that I'm getting more into like semi-scripted stuff where I have an outline and like an idea and like bullet points and stuff. So that I'm glad that I'm doing more now, because it's making editing so much easier. Oh my god, it's making editing so much easier.
Holy shit.
Question number 11. Where do you draw the line in regards to sharing on social media? When it comes to like my relationship, I don't share a ton. I mean, Josh is on the internet, like he is a semi-public facing figure because of his job. So it's like we're relatively open just about like, I don't know, our day-to-day life. Like I keep my job completely private because of my own safety and his own safety. Nobody is owed that information. Like it's just my job. It has nothing to do with me here. Also, when it comes to family stuff, like Libby, when she's in videos, she's having fun, but I tend to try and keep stuff like that close to the chest otherwise. Like I don't really share that much about family unless I'm like doing a vlog specifically and I'm like with my family. I try to do that less and less because sometimes like I've gotten comments that are directed at my sister and they have pissed me off in the past. And I if somebody's gonna be mean to me, like I can just mute them. But if they're gonna be mean to my family, like they can get the fuck out of here. So I definitely try and keep most of that stuff pretty close to the chest. This is one thing that I feel like a lot of people have kind of not lost sight of, but have not been as worried about as I would hope people would be worried about. Especially like younger people who are getting into like TikTok. Like, please don't like show your location in things. Like, stop. You don't need people randomly showing up at your house. We've seen people do it to other YouTubers and to Twitch streamers. Just like, don't. It's very unsafe. That was something that I've learned throughout the years, seeing other people be like doxxed and people randomly showed up at their homes. So like, be careful. I used to be much more of an oversharer because the YouTube community was like this big compared to the way it is now. So I wasn't as worried about it, but I have since privated like almost all the videos on my old YouTube channel because they are embarrassing and I'm much more of an oversharer. But I've kind of rolled it back with the oversharing here because the community's bigger and I'm older. Pretty much the fact of the matter. I got older and I stopped oversharing because the community got huge. Question number 12. Name one thing you wish you knew when you were starting out. Honestly, I wish I had taken it more seriously earlier on, and I wish that I had known that it was gonna become a viable way of like making money and like having something else in your life that's not a 9-to-5, because I don't know if things would be different now. I don't know if I had taken it more seriously and gone in a specific direction earlier on, if I'd have more people here. I have no idea. Yeah, I wish I had known that that was a viable option. I probably wouldn't have like changed my content so much, but maybe just taken it more seriously, maybe not overshared as much. I wish I had known that it was gonna be a viable option, because then I could have just like told people off when they were like, oh, YouTube, isn't that where people upload videos of
Cats.
piano playing cats? It's like, no, there's people making actual jobs out of this now. Like, it's a career. I wish I had just jumped into it a little more headfirst earlier on, because I definitely had the time to. Question number 13. Is there any change you'd like to make to your content in the future? Yes, but I'm not quite sure what that is yet. Because I'm kind of in the process of doing that right now. Like, I'm going through a little bit of a content identity crisis because I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've seen, I'm a perfect example. Like, I don't really watch beauty content much anymore, so I'm, like, kind of feeling it out and seeing, like, how people feel about certain kinds of content. So, like, yes, but I don't know what it's going to be. That is a constant struggle that's always in the back of my mind recently. I'm like, what do I want to do this? Because again, back when I first started making content, people would just post whatever the fuck they wanted, and people watched people for the people, rather than like coming to a channel for like specific shows or specific content. Like, people didn't have second channels back in the day. People didn't have multiple channels for like Twitch uploads and VODs. Like, that wasn't a thing. Like, people just uploaded whatever the heck they wanted and people watched it. So that's something that I've been stubborn about, but I am figuring it out, I hope. Question 14. What company or collab is your dream? I would love to collab with Kaleidos. I feel like of all of the makeup brands, Kaleidos makes the most sense. I would say it's the brand that like I'm the closest to standing. I don't like using the term stan in any context, but I love the products themselves. I love the design. I love the creativity and the variety and the colorfulness. I love the aesthetic of all of it and the themes. I feel like it would be a natural fit since I talk about their shit all the time. Or like Warby Parker. Because, like I said, I've been wearing their glasses for almost a decade, and I think it would be cool as heck. I don't know if they even do that with people. Like, I don't even know if they collab with influencers, besides just doing sponsored content, but like, I would be open to that. That'd be cool as heck. Anyway, question 15. What other creator do you admire or want to work with? I just want to make stuff with my friends. I just want to make stuff with my friends who all live on the East Coast and the Midwest. I just want to make videos with Nisa and Lacey and Hannah and Jordan, and I just want us all to be together for a little bit amount of time and just make shit and just have fun. We finally get to see each other this summer, and I'm really fucking excited. So, I don't know how much time we're gonna have to make stuff, but we'll try. But alas, distance. Although I have been really liking this new trend of people doing collab videos like via Zoom and like Discord, where people will be doing commentary videos like with other people. It's almost like a podcast, but like in a slightly different format. And I really like that. I've been really enjoying that. I feel like it's really funny. It's really dynamic, and it's exposed me to some other content creators who I've now started to enjoy a lot, which has been really cool. Oh, this next one gets a little spicy. Question 16. What content do you hate? Mukbangs, family vlogging, pranks, and lazy reaction channels where they don't actually have any sort of transformative content, where they're just like stealing other people's content and just like making faces at it for 20 minutes. Yeah, those annoy the hell out of me. Mukbangs, I feel like the concept where they started was relatively wholesome, but what it turned into on YouTube is fucking unhinged, and I hate it. Seeing the thumbnails even gross me out, like the giant platters of like 8 lobsters and like a fishbowl full of butter. Like, I cannot do it. There's some weird ASMR videos that I can watch that I'm always just a little bit confused by. Like, there's some weird stuff that I can at least like sit through and cringe at. I can't sit through mukbangs. I literally cannot do it. And then family vloggers are some of the worst people on the internet because they exploit their children for money, as we have seen more recently with LeBrant family and many other family vloggers, the Ace family, Daddy of 5, the Prince family. So many fucking family vloggers just using their kids for money and not letting their kids actually make decisions for their own lives, and putting all of their children's growing up and embarrassing moments on the internet for other people who they don't know to watch and to laugh at or react to. Fuck you, family vloggers. Literally go away. Mukbangs gross me out. But the people, I don't know them. I don't know who they are. I don't care. They seem like lovely people for the most part. But family vloggers, worst people. And then there's the terrifying Venn diagram of pranking your family, pranking your children for money, traumatizing your children for money. Again, leave your children alone. But pranks overall, they've sometimes a prank will be funny, but most of the time prank videos, they end up punching down. And they're just kind of an excuse to be either creepy, misogynist, weird, predatory, like just gross. Prank videos are weird. Oh, and then the ones where like, when it's like couples channels that prank each other, I'm like, okay, clearly you're lying about it being a prank, like you set it up, or if you didn't set it up, what is wrong with you? Like, how do you trust each other? Oh my god. And then the last question is what I had mentioned earlier. Have you ever had to deal with cancel culture? And if so, how? I wouldn't necessarily say that this is like cancel culture per se, but I ended up having to make a choice because a brand was getting called out for things. Back in, was it October, I think? I think October was the last time I did a HelloFresh spot, but I think I might have already mentioned this on Twitter, but I don't know if I ever explicitly said it in the YouTube video. I used to have a monthly recurring sponsorship with HelloFresh, and it was something where I was like paid on time. It was great. It was super easy. Like, I liked doing it. I liked the product. I liked the service, and I had no problem doing a sponsorship for them. But then news came out that they had been union busting, that the company was making choices that I didn't agree with. And literally the news of that came out like the day after I like submitted my video for that month for approval. And I was like, fuck. Because contracts are a thing. I was able to cancel it after the fact and was able to discontinue my regular sponsorship with them. But it was really bad timing. It was really shitty timing because they were a monthly thing, and I literally had the video up. I was super proud of the video too. I thought it was really funny, and the comments were flooded with negative comments about HelloFresh, and I was like panicking, and it sucked. It really sucked. And that was, I think, one of the times when like there was a thread about me on the subreddit that shall not be named. But once the spot was done, I was like, I can't continue this. I can't do it again because A, I don't feel good about it, and B, the last thing I want is for people to not trust me because I'm going against my other opinions that I've previously talked about with other companies. I don't want to do that. And so I was able to cancel my contract, which was great, which was nice after the fact. I was doing videos. I was doing sponsored videos for them. New information came out that I didn't agree with. I stopped doing sponsorships with them. End of story. That's kind of the story of that. That's how that happened. So the timing was bad all around. So those were all the questions. Thank you, Kate, for tagging me in this 2 months ago. I realized I was like, she tagged me in this like March 17th, and it is, checks notes, May 11th as I'm filming this. So definitely go check out Kate's video. Yeah, and check out the other videos. I saw Batty Bean do one the other day, and that's what reminded me again. I was like, oh shit, I have to do this video. I forgot to do it when I came back. If you guys have any other questions about any of this, like more specifically, you could always leave comments below. For today's song of the day, let's see. All of the rest of my social media will also be in the description, my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Twitch. And I did download TikTok. I haven't started uploading on there yet. I mainly just downloaded it because of the number of TikToks I get sent from my sister, from my friends, and from my boyfriend, and it's really fucking annoying trying to open them on the browser on the phone. So as of right now, it's literally just so that I can watch TikToks that people send me on my phone in an easier way. If I do start making videos on there, I'll let you know, but as of right now, it's just an account to watch things that people send me. Because there's a lot of funny content on there, okay? Thanks so much for watching, everyone. It is Friday. You made it to the end of the week. Congratulations. If you would like to come watch me on Twitch tomorrow, I'll be streaming probably like 8 o'clock tomorrow night. I don't know what we'll be doing on The Sims. I might be touring some builds or seeing if my custom content is working again. I had to uninstall it with the latest update because it broke, and so I've just been playing without any of my mods recently, and it's challenging, but like kind of fun because I've been having to use items that I rarely ever use because I have no CC. And for any Sims people out there, I had 4,000 pieces of custom content in my CC folder that I had to remove. So that's a lot of content that I don't have now. Have a good weekend, everyone. Get some sleep, go get a glass of water, and I will see you all next week. Bye!